We learnt in previous episode that bringing Ganga from heavens to the earth was no easy task. It took the Vamana avatar of Lord Vishnu, anger of Durvasa Maharshi, untimely death of 60,000 princes, several generations of Ikshvaku rulers, several years of one-dimensional efforts from King Bhagiratha, Lord Brahma, and finally Lord Shiva to bring the most pious but arrogant and mischievous river to the earth. The whole night just rolled on for Rama and Lakshmana, listening to the story of Ganga and musing about it. Fresh in the dawn of next day, after performing their daily rituals, Rama and Lakshmana went to sage Vishwamitra, who was also ready by then, and said, O great sage, our night was blessed with the praiseworthy story of the descent of Ganga. We are now ready to cross this great river and continue on our journey. Hearing this, Vishwamitra started on their further journey. The sages living in the surrounding areas, having heard that Vishwamitra was going to cross the river, brought them a sturdy but comfortable boat to cross the river. Vishwamitra, along with other sages and both the brothers, crossed the river in the same boat. After crossing the river, they honored the sages who ferried them across and continued on the journey. Nearby was the charming and heaven-like city Vishala. Seeing its beauty, Rama's curiosity was immediately ignited, and he asked Vishwamitra with folded arms, O great sage, this city Vishala looks very interesting. Please tell us who are the rulers of this city. I am interested to know more about it. Please enlighten us with your knowledge. Happy with the interest shown by Rama, Vishwamitra started to narrate the legend of Vishala. This happened in Kritayuga. Daksha Prajapati had two daughters whom he married off to sage Kashyapa. Diti was the eldest daughter and the first wife of sage Kashyapa. Her sons were extremely energetic and are called Asuras or Rakshasas, the demons with many negative characteristics. Her younger sister Aditi, the second wife of the sage Kashyapa, gave birth to the lineage of Suras or Devatas, the gods who were equally vigorous and highly righteous. Both Asuras and Suras had enmity between them from their birth due to their personality traits and actions. Vishwamitra continued, O who is equal to a tiger among men, listen to me. These sons of Diti and Aditi, being very ambitious, started thinking how to become free of aging, sickness, and thereby death. They started looking for ways to become immortal. Finally, after much deliberation and advice from Lord Vishnu, they came to a conclusion that by churning the cosmic ocean called Ksheerasagara, where Lord Vishnu resides, they can get the elixir of life, the Amrit. For this, they made the mountain Mandara as the stirrer and the deadly thousand-headed king of the snakes Vasuki as the rope to churn the ocean. With these arrangements, these brothers with their mighty strength started on the huge task of churning the Ksheerasagara to get Amrit. Lord Vishnu intelligently ensured that Devatas were holding the tail and the mighty Asuras were holding the head of Vasuki while churning. This resulted in Asuras having to directly face the poisonous gases and fumes Vasuki was releasing from its mouth and nostrils during churning. Though they were very strong, they were burnt just like trees scorched under the poisonous gases and heat. Eventually, all their energy was lost. Same happened with the Devatas also, though they were holding the tail, as they also had consumed some of the same gases and fumes of Vasuki. Though they were standing behind, they were relatively weaker in comparison with Asura's strength. Because of the poisonous fumes of Vasuki, all their faces and clothes were scorched and became black. Some of them have died too. As they became weaker, their churning became slower. So the mountain Mandara, because of its heavy weight and as there was no support underneath it, sank to the ocean bed. Thus, all the efforts of Devatas and Danavas was wasted. They lost all hope. Seeing their plight, Lord Vishnu appeared on his Garuda Vahana and energized all Devatas and Danavas with his grace. Then he took upon himself to support them in their initiative. He changed into his tortoise avatar and lifted the great mountain from ocean bed and placed it on his back. He held the mountain Mandara firmly on his back and asked Devatas and Danavas to continue the churning. Encouraged by this turn of events and energized by Lord Vishnu, they started the churning with all the more vigor this time. With this ferocious churning, all the huge ocean animals like ocean elephants, whales, huge crocodiles residing on the ocean bed came onto the surface of the ocean and created mayhem. After 1,000 years of such churning, Vasuki could not bear the friction and started biting the Mandara mountain. With this, the dangerous poison from the fangs of the 1,000 faces of the king of serpents mixed with the poisonous fumes it was releasing, and the molten rocks of Mandara turned into huge quantities of the deadly poison called Halahala or Kalakuta, which has the potential to destroy the whole creation. The poison, which was like an inferno, started burning and destroying the surroundings. The god, seeing no other option, ran to Brahma to save them as he is the creator. But he said, only Lord Shiva can save the world from this danger. So all gods, along with Lord Brahma, went to Lord Shiva, the protector of all living beings, and asked for protection from Halahala. Meanwhile, Lord Vishnu also appeared before Shiva and said, O foremost among all gods, please accept this first outcome from the quest for Amrit as an offering, in recognition of your first position among gods. By accepting this Halahala, you will be protecting the whole creation. Lord Shiva, on hearing this and being very lenient to whoever prays to him, agreed to accept Halahala and protect them. Hearing this, his consort goddess Durga felt very happy as she knows the capacity of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva then collected all the Halahala into his hands and drank it. With the power of Halahala, from then onwards, the throat of Lord Shiva bore a bluish black mark which he got as Halahala scorched his throat while drinking. There are many legends attached to this story. It goes that when he was drinking, a small part of the poison slipped from his hands and has fallen on the earth, from which all the poisonous animals and plants have originated onto the earth. It is said that only Lord Shiva could protect everyone from Halahala or Kalakuta poison, as he is the bearer of Vasuki around his neck, from whom this poison is generated. It symbolizes that he has the power to tame the most deadliest or wildest and give relief to others. Another legend goes that when Lord Shiva consumed Halahala, Parvati, who was nearby, was worried and gripped his throat to stop the poison from reaching his stomach. Thus he earned the name Vishakantha, and later, when the poison bruised his throat into bluish color, he got the name Neelakantha. In Shaktiism, the legend of Mother Tara Devi, one of the Mahavidyas, was that when Lord Shiva consumed Halahala, he fainted because of the power of the poison. Then his wife Parvati assumed the form of Mahavidya Tara Devi as mother of Lord Shiva and suckled him. Her milk countered the effects of Halahala and healed Shiva, thus protecting him. Having been freed from the danger of Halahala, the Suras and Asuras continued with their churning for Amrita, the nectar of life. We will stop here and continue in the next chapter to know how did Devadas finally got Amrit for themselves by manipulating the Asuras and became immortal. Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu.